Hi, Jerry. Oh, I put this on mute. Where do I put this on mute? Right there. Oh, good. I'm on mute.
Just drive down to the hospital, once you're ready, drive back, one state, from the airport, the other.
Here around this one, where the power put right there, which is where you grab it, you want to move it out of your way. You need a cover. That would actually make pretty good sense.
It's so much lonesome. Good evening, gentlemen. Glad to see you here. Hope the meal or snack, as we call it, was okay. I got to stay here today, gentlemen. In case. So tonight we're about to open the meeting in the fourth section. Let our faithful officers assume their respective station, and the faithful inner sentinel and outer sentinel take their posts. The faithful pilot will now, he's a no-show, so I'm not. Will now advise me and make known if all present are possessed of a proper membership card.
Faithful navigator, your order has been obeyed. I report none but faithful knights present, and all are in possession of current membership cards, except those in the custody of the guards.
All right, thank you. Let the faithful controller call the roll of our faithful officers. He's not here. This is the problem with such a ritual. When all your officers are not here to do this ritual, so I apologize. Obviously, faithful navigator, I'm here. Faithful captain is here. Faithful purser, collaborates here. Faithful scribe, Joe Wax is here. Thank you for the minutes as always. Inner sentinel, Mel Phelps is here. Outer sentinel, James Patrick is here. Trustee 1 year, Wade Carlson is here. The 3rd year trustee, John Howe, is excused. Faithful controller, Robert Need is still in Arizona, coming home soon. Faithful admiral, Chuck Lovera. I got it. Oh. So just a side note, you know how many people in admin have been afraid that they've been saying your name wrong? So I've been given lessons, maybe 4 people. So, Our faithful admiral is here. Faithful pilot is absent. Faithful friar, is excused, Father Vitalis. 2-year trustee, is a vacant, position at this time. As you know, or don't know, tonight Tom Coops transferred to
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart. And then, Color Corps Commander is here, was she looking at it? Okay. With that said, faithful pilot, what is the principle of the 4th degree?
Patriotism.
Faithful, captain, what is our duty to our country?
To respect and obey all lawful authority. To uphold and maintain those whose duty it is to administer the law. To defend and preserve unspotted and unstained the flag of our country and the principles for which it stands.
Thank you. Faithful admiral, what other duties, have we as faithful knights of our honored order?
To maintain unity, practice the virtues of charity and brotherly love, to exemplify in all our relations with our fellow man the sublime teachings of Holy Mother Church.
Thank you. And so it is tonight, fidelity to Christ begets loyalty to our country, and the faithful practice of our holy religion begets the good citizen and patriot. So knights, stand and salute the flag. Oh, flag, okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the nation of the liberty and justice for all. Stand or kneel. Tonight, before entering upon our deliberations, let us acknowledge our dependence upon Almighty God and call upon a faithful friar to invoke his blessing by repeating aloud the Lord's Prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who are offended. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Go ahead and have your seats. Thank you. I now declare this assembly regularly open for transaction of business. We have one person that we need to recognize, and that is Brother Ruben. How are you? Yeah, it's so good to see you. He is one of the living legends. I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for blessing us with your presence tonight. Okay. We don't have Father Vitalis here to give a blessing or whatever, but what I wanted to thought about this today at 6:30. It was about 26, 28 degrees outside, darker than snot. 12 Army warriors and a fire station captain with a fire truck. We converged on a young man who I'll just call DJ. He's 36 years old. He almost looks like a cartoon character, Poindexter. Has cerebral palsy. He was not supposed to live past 9 years of age. And so today or this morning, we were escorting him, surprised him, to St. El's Hospital for a total hip replacement. It was going to be a complicated procedure because through his lifespan, through Shriners Hospital, he had received multiple orthopedic surgical interventions through his life. And so now they didn't know exactly what they were going to find when they went in and what was going to be needed, but he definitely needed a new left hip replacement. It was just truly inspiring. When you saw this young man, you no longer were cold as we rode our bikes. But why I share this story with you is that he asked his mom for his hat, his God's hat. And on his head, he wore, God is good every day. And that's the hat he chose to go to the hospital with for surgery. So, yeah, God is good. Okay, with that said, a reading of last month's minutes. Oh,
I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes for his sake and accept them as written and published.
all right, there's a motion on the floor to forego reading of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that works out. Reading of bills and communication. I would say as just prior to this meeting, there was none. But Joe James, I got a article. He sent me, he's going to be late and he had to go to the airport, I believe. But his message was to thank you all, to thank the council for the prayers for his wife. He was really humble and thankful. And with that, he said no report. So report of faithful navigator. Try to read this succinct. I just today looking at thank yous, recognition, and praise. I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that fly? No? Okay. So with CCW, Miss Ronnie, she's like this tall, but she's hell on wheels, full of fire, and she works tirelessly for the church. She said, Joe, you got more important things to worry about. We got this, decorating the 4th degree exemplification, dining tables, and serving the meal, no problem. And I guess we were talking about it, and I was stressed, and I will continue to stress. It's so important to me that she saw my effort, and she said this. So she's just a sweet lady. She's one of the ushers. I so appreciate color coordinators who volunteered to do the duties at the 11th March Night's Mass, while remaining color corps members manned the reception line and processed in and recessed out of the mass itself. So divide and conquer. So fellow color corps members, thank you. Color corps the next day led procession in and the procession out for Bishop Peter 12 March for ICYC. 2,500 participants. It's just all inspiring. When sometimes you look at the youth and you wonder to yourself, to see 2,500 young people there singing their hearts out and praises and all that, it just gives you faith for the future. The bishop expressed his sincere appreciation for color corps and our ongoing support. And we'll get back to the bishop in a second. Grand night dates, Serafino, facility support and locking up the church after our 22 March 4th degree information seminar. And you just a wonderful grand night. in the process, you never see him walk in or walk out of a place. It takes time. He always takes time to mix up with fellow knights and with supporting events. And you can just see how tired he is. But he goes, and he does it with great love and affection for all of us. We appreciate that. You're a good man. And then pass away from that, Chuck Lovera, and Steve Gaston. They took initiative without any prompting to create two important documents for future use and statewide dissemination. So we had our 4th degree on the 22nd, information seminar. We was roughly about 2.5 hours. It was really, really well. And what these two gentlemen did was, Chuck maybe a little bit before, but after, created two documents that could be exported to other assemblies for conducting that type of seminar. It was so interactive. I think those that were there really enjoyed themselves, found it informative. And these two Sir Knights made it so that not only can that information seminar happen here, but it can happen throughout the entire state. So thank you two guys. They did it without any prompting and produced an excellent product. We had 7 knights who volunteered to support the 2.5 hour degree information seminar. Their presence emphasized the importance of advancement to the 4th degree. And I understand, like with the ceremonial, right? The reason why us need to attend these ceremonies or functions, even though we're not the ones going through, is that candidate gets the impression they made the right decision to join us, and we're there to support them. And so for me, for the information seminar, having 7 Sir Knights attend and support that training information session was most gratifying. Purchase of the American flags for St. Ignatius and Holy Apostles. I now know that's a 5x8 flag. Prices have gone up. So I couldn't remember when I went to the flag store. So I went by price. Oh, that's what I paid last time. Well, we had a really good changing of colors training and posting of colors training. And next thing we know, we send up the flag and there's a foot of cord just dangling. And so we got to practice folding the flag one more time and we put the old one up. But for those that participated in the training, I have the right flag over there. And I never realized, but there's beads that hang below the flag with the weight. And the beads help the flag go up ever so smoothly. And so I bought new ones there. Total price for the beads and the 2 flags, one for St. Ignatius, was roughly $195. Oh, yeah, and that's it in my report. The thing to make a note is the FPO for veterans cinnamon rolls will be 22 to 23 April. And I don't have any information on the American flag sale, the construction or prep for sale. So I just have to get back to you by email about that activity. All right, report of the comptroller. And as I said, Robert's out of town in Arizona. We have 124 members, that's staying steady. We have 106 paying members, of which 94 have paid, which leaves 12 unpaid. So we have about a 87% rate on those who have paid dues. A second notice has been sent out to those members, and we'll follow up. And again, just like anything else, we'll follow up with a phone call if we don't get results on the second, and make sure they're okay and see if there's any problems about paying dues. And that is that report. Next is the report of the faithful person.
Yeah, we've got, the starting balance was $6,578.99. We've got, a working balance of $3,668.99 with our 3,000 chalice reserve, which puts us at, the end of the month, or currently, we're at $6,668.99. Where we have $150 of deposits for dues. And then we have 2 outstanding checks, one for the VA for 75 and one for the flags for 195.57.
All right, thank you. The end of the month report, as you probably aware, for a bank statement, not available because this is 27th of the month. So now next is the Color Corps Commander's report. We had short notice, but happy to do it. A funeral for Deacon Bill Pezak, if I'm saying that right, at St. Mary's on Friday. Color Corps will report at 9:30, and the rosary for the deacon is at 10:30, and the funeral mass is at 11. This is another example of our mutual support for within the valley. They don't have enough Color Corps, so they send up the flag and we answer the call. What's unique about this Color Corps language is that this is a 4-man changing of guard for the urn. So that's a little bit more tricky, but we've been well practiced to handle that routine. The annual change of colors and refresher training that happened this past Saturday, and it really went well. Anything that could go wrong or hiccups happened, but we overcame them and we did well. So the Holy Apostles flag is there now, so I have to make arrangements. It's always nice if we can make it a ceremonial type of changing of colors to where our parishioners, other staff members can witness it and participate in the ritual of that. Lucky for us, our flag is not as worn as St. Ignatius. I mean, that's almost ripped apart, so the wind must be greater over there, the way that it comes in. St. Ignatius, the principal, Andy, is willing to have her students participate in the changing of colors. And so time is really tight for them. And so what we came to an agreement, which really works out well, we're going to have 7 to 8 8th graders. That's what I need to do that ceremony. Well, she has a leadership class of the 8th graders, and there are 15 of them. So she's going to arrange for a date, and we're going to make it a lesson, and they're going to be what our color Corps was on this Saturday, and actually do the change of colors. And the most important, that we'll go over the 13 folds of the flag, what they may stand for. Okay. One thing that's quite unusual, there was a call for wedding support on 10 June by one of our Color Corps Knights at St. Mark, so some of the guys have done it in years past, so I'll get to do my first one, and again, Color Core is there not only for funerals, but for celebrations. And this night wanted to celebrate his wedding. Okay, that's it for my report. Report of committees. Admissions, reading of applications tonight.
Well, good evening, brothers. On May the 6th, we will be having 4th degree exemplification, and the requirement was or is a minimum of 12 candidates. Well, it's turned out that we've got 15 so far. Okay. I will go ahead and read those names. Deacon Bill Beaker, Stephen Sherrard. There he is. Go, Stephen. David Brooks, Michael Keck, Ed Shaw, no Ed's here. Okay. Kyle Bunker, Jerry Heinlein, Chuck Warren, Greg Asmus, Stephen Denon, Robert Fulford II. I don't know. Is he a member of our council?
From St. Mark's.
Is he not? Okay, what? Thank you. Okay, Mike Newell, Gene Lopez, Mark Miranda, and Fred Klein. So, at this point, unless there's any objection, I would like to make a motion to accept all of these as candidates for the May 6th 4th degree exemplification.
Second.
Second, okay, motion on the floor to accept 15 candidates for the 4th degree exemplification. All in favor, say aye. Nay, those opposed? Okay, nice, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And I just fair warning, I have not stopped recruiting from anyway. All right, and the welfare committee, I already told you that Brother Joe James would be arriving late, and that he had no report. But again, most appreciative for our prayers for his wife. VA hospital and home.
For the nights we had our VA bingo last Saturday, and it was very successful. And I'd like to thank Wade Carlson, who helped, Steve Monte, and Rob Merkel-Jasek. We had four nights helping me there, and there were 8 patients, and so we were jumping. We handed out $81 in coin, and we supplied some munchies that cost about $19. So altogether there was $100 that we actually supported there. So it was a very successful one, one of the more successful, I think. The patients were pretty happy with the whole operation, and again, I want to thank you guys for helping out.
Thank you. All right, next. Report of trustees, and my understanding is that there's no report, but information came to me that we may be negligent in some reports going out of chain, so we'll have to get our trustees together and purser and comptroller together to get those reports completed and sent out. Unfinished business. So back to the 4th degree exemplification ceremony. I won't bother you with all the details, but where we're really critical is having those individuals identified who will help in the kitchen and particularly, dishwashing. We have CCW that's gonna help out. We have, the Sarin family that's volunteered to bring 10, youth with them, probably from St. Ignatius. Here comes Joe now. And to help, with, busting the tables and whatever else we need. But right now, I have 0 volunteers, for the kitchen and for the, machine, for, the dishwasher. But everything else seems to be, going pretty well. We will have a possible, day before on 5 May to set up the gym for ceremony and for the dining, and so, we'll do that, at 9:30, and Bellepore has got the handle on the setup. A lot of this information's already been done. I have a 4th degree in simplification candidates, we've already voted them in, and just really pretty amazing that we got 15, and I think there are 5 potential candidates at St. Mark's and 2 at Caldwell, but I've not gotten any information for those candidates yet. On June 16th, just to remind you again, under old business, I have the flyer over there on the table. June 16th, save the date. Boise Hawk, 7 p.m. entrance opens up. I've only have 4 RSVP. And so if it's not worthwhile having that activity, then I'm willing to cancel it, but we're just trying to create social events, and whether it was hockey or baseball. In the past, we've really had a good time socializing and talking about other things, while we're watching the hockey game or the ball game. But it's almost 2 months now, and only 4 RSVPs. I'm not pressuring you. If it's something that for donatism doesn't float your boat, I'm cool with that, and I'll just cancel it. So, if you're interested, please get with me or send me an email, and we'll see by May if that's still a go or not. Yes, sir.
Table navigator. Do we know how many deacons we invited to the baseball game?
Yes, we have 2 deacons and their wives, and I believe both priests, which all 4 are sponsored. They sent out an email and addressed it with the clergy at their staff meeting.
I have not sent in my confirmation, but I will this week. So I do plan on being there, and I encourage all my brothers to be there as well. So
Okay.
Me too.
So, I've signed during the council meeting, maybe just sign, let me know. Okay. We need a minimum of 25 to be able to walk in the door. Yes.
When you pick one navigator, what's the deadline for canceling?
They didn't give me a specific date, but I would imagine a week before. And there are other people, other organizations participating in that venue, but we'll have our own tables, and again, it's all that you can eat from 7 to 8, and beer and wine half price, and we get to stay undercover, which in June is really nice, and we're right by third base, so that's a good feel. All right. New business, I do not have anything under new business to bring up at this time. Report of the 3rd degree.
Good navigator. The report of the third degree tonight, we'll have two special guests from Salt and Light Radio, doing a short presentation. We'll be talking about upcoming elections and a couple other things.
Copy that. Thank you. So, good of the order, promise you history, and, this is, I've had, Bishop, Sylvester William, training, a picture up there, I'm raised with the Pope. And, I was just really curious, I said, what do we know about our namesake at all? And so, oh, wait a minute, there's one thing you need to know. It was a hunt. Little Navigator, how did you come up with this? Well, I'm gonna tell you, adoration. I'm standing in front of the little library books. I reach in and say, okay, Jesus, what do you want me to read about today? I put my hand in there and just pick a book. And it's a book that he wrote. It says Clouds with Silver Linings, a praying book. And what Bishop Trayton did was he wrote this short back about another clergy, I'm assuming it's another priest that he admired. And the one that he's writing about is no matter how bad a situation was, he always looked for the silver lining in that situation. So about our namesake, Bishop Training was born in 19 November 1917. He was ordained a priest 11 June 1946, and that was in Bismarck, North Dakota. 19 May 62, he was appointed as Bishop of Boise, Idaho, and he would be our bishop until he retired, until 17 August 1988. He would have his 50th year of being a priest with us. He was a very, very humble man. Lived a very, very simple life. But he was able to make 4 trips to Rome for, I'm not going to get the name of it, but for conferences. And what was really good about that is that he would come back from Rome and not only give what the updates were, but what the new initiatives were regarding our faith and the practice and the running of the church. He would come back and energetically start trying to implement them. So he was a good for us for those years. So I'm just going to read a couple of passages on this and keep within my 5 minutes. This was on the introduction. God is a mystery, but not total mystery. In Jesus, God has revealed himself. God has revealed himself also in nature and in ourselves. Yet, because of our limitation, God is still a great mystery. In the writing about another person, one has to try to crawl inside. Now, this is coming from our bishop. In that person to discover exactly what makes the other person tick. On the other hand, dark and gray clouds often soar over him. And this is the celebrant that he's talking about. As frequently the case in the lives of most people. My task was to keep reminding him that there was a silver lining behind every cloud that rose on his horizon and spread over him. In other words, things always turn out quite well for those who love God and have a deep faith in Him. My friends, faith and love were something exciting to observe and contagious. And we're just talking about when you're around like good people, holy people, how their love for Christ or God can spread to others. I'll just read these next two lines. At an early age, a good friend of mine discovered that one's spiritual, physical, and psychological development depends a lot on the kind of parents one draws in life's lottery and the kind of home life they provide. And so this is heavy here. If the parents in the home are less than ideal, that negative impact can be counterbalanced by education, counseling, personal effort, and prayer. So, like we've heard so many times before, because someone maybe comes from a bad home, or their behavior is not what we would like it to be, we have an opportunity to have a positive impact on their individual's life and turn them around. Okay, so around the room, is there anyone that is good order? Something that I haven't covered, you talk about, or?
I don't know if many nights know Harold Houston, but he passed away last Friday. And there's a funeral Thursday, I believe, at 1 o'clock. I think he is a knight. I'm pretty sure he is. I don't believe he's a 4th degree. But anyway, prayers for his family and his soul. Thank you. Thank you.
Case in point that when departed knights or any individual comes to the church's admin office, there should be 2 questions, particularly male or female, or one as male, if they're a knight, and the second question is that were they a veteran, because that prompts 2 things. If they were a knight, then I get a call about doing the mass. If they were a veteran, then Patriot Guard Riders gets called via the church and or at the cemetery. And they don't only do Idaho State Veteran Cemetery. Any cemetery within the Boise, Treasure Valley area, they'll go to. Thank you for that. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Brother Tony down in the MP kind of had a rough week with his dialysis. Saturday he went to do dialysis and the fistula in his arm was clogged up and they couldn't do it. So they sent him to the hospital and they were going to work on the arm because he can't go more than 2 days without doing dialysis. He's going to wind up in a graveyard somewhere. So at the hospital, they couldn't fix the fistula. So they put 2 tubes in the side of his neck in the veins there, and they did the dialysis. And that's what he's walking around with is the 2 tubes in there, and he can't take a bath or a shower or anything else. And then he has to go back to the hospital, and they're going to try and put the fistula in the left arm this time. So he's not having a good time down there. So God bless him. He just takes it, rolls with the punches.
So fistula is what they call an AV fistula, arterial, ventral, venous fistula, and what you need is high blood flow so that they can dialyze an individual. And you got a great artery and vein up here for carotids. And so going to another arm, it's not an easy procedure to go through inserting a graft to be able to do dialysis. So, but we need to pray for him. That's really hard medicine. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
Faithful navigator,
I'd like to ask for prayers for a good friend of my sister's in Iowa. His name is David Emerson. He had emergency surgery for a intestinal hernia, and the surgery was done in a local hospital. The surgeon did a relatively good job, but there were complications. And so he was taken by helicopter to a larger hospital and had second surgery. And he's not out of the woods, but would appreciate prayers for him.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, we'll move on. Mine is for officers to rise and faithful pilot, what are the emblems of this degree?
The flag, the sword, and the cross.
Tonight, yes, these glorious symbols typify patriotism, liberty, and faith. The heaven-sent attributes of our Christian citizenship. Faithful pilot, what do you say for the flag?
This is the flag of our country. We love it and shall ever defend it.
Thank you. Faithful admiral, what do you say to the sword?
Let us keep it bright for liberty's sake.
Faithful captain, what do you say to the cross?
This is the cross of Christ, the exponent of Christian ideals, the conqueror of death, the giver of life. Supreme reverence to this sacred symbol will crown our country queen in the sisterhood of nations. It is the bulwark of national honor, the inspiration of patriotism, the guardian of personal worth, for it was crimson with the blood of self-sacrifice.
Thank you. Sir Knights, undying allegiance to the cross of Christ and to Christ's victor upon earth. Stand on the elder. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven. Hail Mary, full of grace, blessed art thou. Glory be to the Father. So next, let us, I now declare this assembly duly closed until other